What's up, Vivants? It is Beaujolais Nouveau Day, and if you don't know anything about Beaujolais Nouveau Day, you are about to get a crash course. Let's go. Alright guys, today is Beaujolais Nouveau Day, and it happens every third Thursday of November. And if you've never heard of Beaujolais Nouveau and you're wondering what all the hype is about, I'm about to break it down for you because there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of confusion about Beaujolais Nouveau versus CRU Beaujolais. Here are the facts. Beaujolais Nouveau is a wine made from the gamay grape, the same grape as the CRU Beaujolais I've often championed in the past, except that it's made from this vintage. So the winemakers get together in Beaujolais, they hand harvest those gamay grapes, and they all go into a really big tank. Now, instead of pressing the grapes off of the skins, they actually just throw the whole clusters in there, they seal the tank, and all of a sudden fermentation starts to happen from within the actual grape, and they explode on themselves. So it's something called carbonic maceration, and all sorts of geeky, nerdy things that aren't necessarily important, but it's important to understand that Beaujolais Nouveau is not intended to be consumed later on in its life. It's meant to be drunk young and celebrated, and it's a big festive celebration that happens every year in France. In fact, George Duboeuf sort of championed this whole thing when he said, Beaujolais Nouveau est arrivé. My French accent, not great, but you get what I'm saying. Beaujolais Nouveau, third Thursday of every month, made from the gamay grape, undergoes carbonic maceration. It is then bottled without sulfur and then shipped to all different distribution places around the world. It is not to be released prior to 12:01 a.m. that third Thursday of November. And it's sort of this fun little thing that everybody goes through, and everyone's excited to try the first of the Beaujolais Nouveaux, and they celebrate in the streets, people roll barrels down, it's all very festive and exciting. And what does that mean for you? Well, basically it means you get this cheap wine that you're supposed to consume within the first 3 months of its life, and really not anything past that. We're gonna try a little Beaujolais Nouveau today, and we're gonna go with the classic producer, George Duboeuf, who really championed this Nouveau situation in Beaujolais. Now, I should preface this with Beaujolais gets a little bit of a bad rap because it's not the most delicious, or wasn't always the most delicious, but in recent years, it's really sort of had a resurgence and people have gotten more excited about it. I always get excited about it every year. I think it's fun to try these wines because they are so different. And what happens is, because they go through this carbonic maceration, the wines get very, very fruity, they're very light, they're very easygoing because they don't really see any sort of skin contact. So you get a very easygoing, slightly more sweet wine. These are not typically completely dry wines. Now, when we do this other wine, which isn't technically Beaujolais Nouveau, but it is something fun that I wanted to talk about today, you're probably gonna get a little bit more dryness. But if you're just looking for something fun and inexpensive, that's fruity, a little candied, maybe even a little banana, yes, I said banana, a little bit of bubblegum, a little bit of blueberry, this is gonna be really fun. Plastic cork, so exciting, cool. It's always funny to me that the French get so excited about this because it's like the least serious wine, and if they produce this in America and try to sell it to the French, it would never work. So, George Duboeuf 2017 Beaujolais Nouveau, into the glass it goes, and this is my very first taste of this. It changes every year, everyone's excited about it. It literally smells like a banana smoothie. I don't know, there's something so silly about this because wine is such a serious subject all the time. It's kind of fun to like have something a little bit different and something to get excited about. And of course, you're also not spending very much money on these wines. They're only usually around $11, $12 US. If you spend more than that, you're probably getting ripped off. Also, if you see this in the stores past January 1st, don't buy it. It's not gonna be good. It's really intended to be drunk young, served with a slight chill, and meant to be celebrated with. It's not a serious drinking wine. I remember the first time I learned about Beaujolais Nouveau and I was like, that sounds disgusting. And then you sort of get into it. You know, it rolls around in November and people get excited about it, and like everyone's excited on Instagram and people are talking about Beaujolais. I don't know, you just kind of get into it for some stupid reason. It's really fruity, it's really banana-y, really blueberry, and a little bit on the sweeter side. Here's what I would say. If you into sweeter Pinots, into sweeter, lighter wines, and you don't want to drink the delicious Target wines that I was championing the other day. Did you guys see that? Those are fun. It's a lot juicier, it's a lot riper, and it's a wine that's not meant to be taken seriously. It's really just a fun, silly wine that undergoes a very unusual winemaking process. It doesn't have any sort of age on it, doesn't have any sort of tannin on it. The winemakers just literally, they throw it in a tank and let those grapes explode on themselves. They then press it off the skins and then they bottle it almost immediately. So there's really very little winemaking involved in this process, and it's got a little bit of a tartness to offset this sweet banana, strawberry, blueberry thing going on, but it's easy. You know, I always thought it would be fun to do like a Beaujolais Nouveau party here, and actually there's a lot of celebrations happening tonight at some of the local bars. Now we've tasted the classic example of Beaujolais Nouveau. It's good, it's not great, but it's fun, like I said. So now that we've gotten the George Duboeuf classic Beaujolais Nouveau out of the way, I did want to talk about some other producers, one in particular who really took Beaujolais Nouveau to the next level, and I love her for doing this. I think it's so awesome, and there have been a few other producers that have followed suit. And this is Poe. You guys have heard me talk about Poe before. I use Poe in some of my favorite California Pinots under 100. I love what she does. Her name's Samantha Sheehan. I think she's awesome. She's just kind of like does her own thing, and I really respect that. So she was the first one in California to make her own version of Beaujolais Nouveau, and she called it Pinot Nouveau. So she's taking Pinot Noir grapes from Salinas in Monterey County. She's doing the same thing, and actually you can see there's a little impression. They actually hand bottled all of these wines. So she's doing exactly the same as they are in Beaujolais. She's putting the grapes under carbonic maceration and then bottling them sans-soufre, so without sulfur, releasing them immediately. This wine, unfortunately, is sold out. I'm very sorry. I did not know that wine was going to be sold out, but let that be a lesson. If you next year would like to do something like a Beaujolais party, why not get on her list and order a case early in advance, because she will sell out. And then while you're at it, you should also buy her other Pinots because they're delicious. So I'm just gonna give this a little rinse because this actually will affect the taste of the wine, even having just a little bit of sugar and a little bit of, it's really like strong banana blueberry thing. So sometimes what I do is just prime that glass and get whatever's in there out of it. So this one, you're like, oh my God, what a waste of wine. I know. Poe Pinot Nouveau. Thank you so much for making this. And there are a few other producers that are making it. Scribe is doing it, but she was the first and she's the most awesome. And I'm gonna fully throw my support behind her because I believe in what she does. I think she's great, and I think her wines are great, and they're consistently great. Still has like a little bit of that tutti fruity nose, and that's coming from the carbonic maceration. You throw the whole clusters directly into the tank and you let those grapes explode in themselves. It really does give you this really interesting, it's a different yeast strain, and that's where you're getting that like banana tutti fruity thing from, not the grape itself. It's just the yeast. She has a great diagram of how she made this wine, and it's really friendly and probably does a better job at explaining it than I'm doing right now. But it does still have a little bit of that like tutti fruity nose, but it's definitely Pinot underneath it there, so it's got a little bit more like cranberry and cherry and feels a little bit more serious, like there's a tanginess there. It's so cute. Oh, what is that finish? It's that Captain Crunch in the finish. Actually really kind of cool. It's very floral. It's very different than the Beaujolais Nouveau, which is very like fruit salad smoothie. This is more fresh berries, fresh lavender, fresh roses. If you've never had Beaujolais Nouveau, you have to try it. It's impossible for you to like sit there and imagine what this tastes like in your head without trying either of these wines, because it is such an interesting way to make wine. What a funky finish. I kind of love it. All right, well, neither of these wines are $15. This is like $11 or $12. This is around like $20-ish, but like I said, it's kind of sold out. But there are other producers that make a Nouveau style wine, and that is really what I'm trying to talk about in this video, is that this is Beaujolais Nouveau in a nutshell. This is the thing that happens every year. You should look forward to it. You've got a few months to consume it. If you see it on the shelves, this is what you should expect. Tutti fruity, bright, a little bit of sweetness. If you see other versions of it, know that they do exist, but know that it's going to be in the same style as this wine. So always going to have a little bit of that like sweet, ripe, really kind of brambly, bubblegummy sort of nose and palate to it. But that said, it's really fun and it's really kind of different and interesting. And as we head into our festive months, meaning Thanksgiving and the holidays, with all these parties, why not grab a bottle of this and have like a little fun experiment with it? Why not do a wine tasting with it? Why not have some friends over and like try a whole bunch of different Beaujolais Nouveaux? Whole Foods always has them, Trader Joe's has them. Your grocery stores are gonna have them. Head to your wine shops, grab some of the more unusual ones, and have a little bit of fun with it because it is really fun. And for as serious as we are the other 364 days of the year, this is the one day of the year where wine snobs get to sort of relax and have a little bit of fun with Beaujolais Nouveau. I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm gonna put a little bit more up on my Instagram as far as some other producers. So check out my Instagram stories for recommendations on what other producers you should be looking for. As I go through the next few weeks and I find other ones, I'll be putting them up on there. So if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you're doing that at SOMMVIVANT. If you like this video and you like the last video and the one before that, just click the subscribe button and be notified when I put videos up because I'm putting them up all the time. I'm going to continue putting them up because I love this. So if you like this video, give it a like. If you like me and what I'm doing in this whole wine situation, please be sure to give it a subscribe. Happy fall, happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving wine video coming very soon. I hope you're excited. This was not it. I will have other recommendations for you for Thanksgiving, so stay tuned for that. And then for those of you who have been asking about things like Christmas gift videos and holiday wine videos, things like that, know that it is definitely on the way. I am working on it as we speak. I'm very excited to share that with you. And if you have other things that you would like me to talk about, please be sure to comment. I love that you guys are giving me feedback. It's awesome. That is all I have for you today. I am going to head to work and have a wonderful Beaujolais Nouveau celebration with my friends at work tonight. I'll see you guys all soon. Bye!